Okay. So this is third chapter titled Karma Yoga, verse number 2. Vyamishaneva Vakyena Buddhim Mohoya Siva Me Tadekam Vad Nishchitya Yena Shreyoham Apnuyam. You can repeat after me. Vyamishaneva Vakyena Buddhim Mohoya Siva Me Tad Ekam Vad Nishchitya Yena Shreyoham Apnuyam. Yamishaneva Vakyena Buddhim Mohoya Siva Me Tadekam Vat Nishchitya Yena Shreyoham Apnuyam. Word by word meaning is like this. Vyami Shrena by equivocal, Iva certainly, Vakyena words, Buddhim intelligence, Mohayasi you are bewildering, Iva certainly, Me my, Tat therefore, Ekam only one, Vada please tell, Nishchitya ascertaining, Yena by which, Shreya real benefit, Aham I, Apnuyam may have. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada. My intelligence is bewildered by your equivocal instructions. Therefore, please tell me decisively which will be most beneficial for me. Kindly repeat after me. My intelligence is bewildered by your equivocal instructions. Therefore, please tell me decisively which will be most beneficial for me. Purport. In the previous chapter, as a prelude to the Bhagavad Gita, many different paths were explained, such as Sankhya Yoga, Buddhi Yoga, control of senses by intelligence, work without fruitive desire, and the position of the neophyte. This was all presented unsystematically. A more organized outline of the path would be necessary for action and understanding. Arjuna therefore wanted to clear up these apparently confusing matters so that any common man could accept them without misinterpretation. Although Krishna had no intention of confusing Arjuna by any jugglery of words, Arjuna could not follow the process of Krishna consciousness, either by inertia or by active service. In other words, by his questions, he is clearing the path of Krishna consciousness for all students who seriously want to understand the mystery of Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So Prabhupada writes, Arjuna is trying to help us, common man, by requesting Krishna to explain what he has explained so far more systematically, right? So we discussed many times the knowledge contained in Bhagavad Gita is a big mystery. It's very, very confidential knowledge. Cannot be understood simply by reading. Many have tried, many have failed. So unless one follows a systematic process which Krishna has explained in Bhagavad Gita in terms of how to understand or how to reveal the secrets of Bhagavad Gita. Raj Vidya, Raj Guhyam. It is the king of all knowledge, but at the same time, Guhyam, it is very, very confidential. So when Arjuna is confused, it is not that Arjuna is actually confused. Krishna is making him confused so as to keep clarifying for the benefit of common people like us. Okay, so we should see Arjuna only as an instrument, not really a confused person. Arjuna was a dear friend and devotee of Krishna. So there is no question of a devotee getting confused like this. But Krishna is using Arjuna as an instrument to pass on this wonderful knowledge to common people like us. Okay, that we should be very clear. In the first chapter, Arjuna refused to fight the battle, various reasons, compassion, after seeing his own relatives in front of him, loss of enjoyment, how will he enjoy if everyone is dead? He will incur sinful reactions because they are not ordinary people. Dronacharya is a spiritual master. Bhishma Pitama is very adorable, worshipable for Pandavas. How can he kill him? So he presented many reasons, got confused, and then finally surrendered unto Krishna in the beginning of second chapter. Okay? Karpanya dosha upahasvabhava prichhami tvam dharma sammuchat. He told Krishna, please accept me as your disciple and you become my guru. And after this change in relationship from friends to spiritual master and disciple, Krishna started speaking Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so this is the background. And Krishna started speaking Bhagavad Gita with the basic understanding. What understanding? That we are not this body. Our real constitutional position is not this body, which we are so attached to. Our real constitutional position is the spirit soul, a part and parcel of Supreme Lord. So why is explaining this knowledge right in the beginning? What is our constitutional position? Because unless one understands this, he or she will not realize the purpose of life. What is the goal of life? Yeah. So somebody who has not read, understood, practically applied Bhagavad Gita in his life, he is leading an aimless life without exception. Okay. And hence, Bhagavad Gita is so important. And after explaining this knowledge of body and soul, which is also called as Sankhya Yoga or analytical study, then Krishna explained what are the symptoms of a person who is actually living his life on the platform of soul rather than a hardcore material life. Yeah. So Arjuna wanted to know, how does this person who is fully spiritual, who is fully situated in Krishna consciousness, how does he look like? How does he walk? How does he talk? Or another, uh, Arjuna wanted to know, how does he react or respond to different situations in his life? How does he control his senses? How does he engage his senses in different activities? That was Arjuna's query in the second chapter, right? And then we went through sort of, a session on struggle to surrender, if you all remember. That this material world is meant for sufferings. No one is an exception. No one can say that I don't have sufferings in my life. Nobody can claim. Yeah. So struggle is an integral part of this material world, which everybody has to go through. But the struggle can end immediately. Yeah. The struggle can end immediately when one, tell me that word, when one, sorry, you can unmute yourself. You can't unmute, just hold on. Now you can unmute yourself. When one
enters into Krishna consciousness.
When one enters into Krishna consciousness, or when one surrenders unto Krishna. Okay. Now, why surrender? We understood. What is so special? What is the relative position of all of us or a living entity with respect to Krishna? We all understood who is Krishna and who are we? The most insignificant living entity. And we said even the insignificant word is also an exaggeration. That is our position. So, but when one surrenders unto the Supreme Lord, his sufferings cease to exist, even in this material world, which is supposed to be a place of suffering. Now, Krishna is going to reveal different processes how to surrender. Okay? And Krishna is starting it with Karma Yoga, which is the beginning of this chapter, which is the name of this chapter. Now, before we understand Karma Yoga, we need to understand the meaning of yoga. Because most of the people understand yoga as simply different bodily postures to keep the body fit. Okay, that is not the meaning of yoga. So we need to first understand what is yoga not before we understand what is yoga. So what you see, people celebrating International Yoga Day, yoga classes, they are not actually yoga per se, technically. Because yoga actually means connecting with the Supreme. That is the meaning of yoga. Krishna explained that every living entity's constitutional position is of a soul. So connecting back of the soul with the Supreme Soul or the Supreme Lord is called yoga. Yoga means जोड़ना, है ना? One, हम हिंदी में पढ़ते थे योग करो, 1 + 1 = 2. That is yoga. So जोड़ना, किसको जोड़ना? Soul and the super soul. So the process to re-establish relationship between living entity, soul and super soul, supreme entity, is called yoga. Now, I'll try to share with you different processes of yoga in a very nutshell, very briefly, because Krishna is going to explain all of this in detail going forward, but I'll give you overall view so that you understand where does this different yoga systems, Karma Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Gyan Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, so many types of yogas we hear, where do they stand in the process of self-realization? Okay, very, very important. So again, I'm not going to discuss this in detail. Krishna is going to talk about it in the subsequent chapters, but to give you overall macro view of where does each yoga system lie. Okay, the font size is little small, so you need to bear with me. And if you need any clarification, you can ask me once I'm through discussing this. Okay. Tell me, is this legible? Are you able to read this on your screens?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So, this is called yoga ladder, ascending step by step to perfection. We need to start from bottom. Okay. So we see so many varieties of animals, insects, plants, trees. This is one category whose consciousness or intelligence is very limited, or consciousness is not developed, very restricted. Yeah. Their purpose of life is simply survival, nothing else. Immediate survival. For immediate survival, one needs food, one needs rest in the form of sleep, one needs some entertainment in the form of, say, sex, and one needs some ways to protect himself from others. Ahar, Nidra, Bhay, Maithunam, Cha. These are 4 biological instincts in every living entity. What? Ahar. Everyone needs to eat, otherwise he can't survive. Nidra, or sleep, or taking a rest. Everyone needs, whether animals or even human beings. That is second biological instinct. Third is Ahar, Nidra, Bhay. Everybody is fearful, whether animals or human beings. So they need some ways to protect themselves from the fearful situations. And fourth is Maithunam. Every living entity has an urge to unite with the opposite sex, whether animals or human beings. So when one is confined to only these 4 propensities, his consciousness is of the level of animal. Okay. So when you say animal life at the bottom, it doesn't include only animals, it also includes all those human beings whose propensities are limited to only these 4 things. Ahar, Nidra, Bhay, Maithunam, Cha. So the purpose of life is only how to eat better, how to eat at 5-star restaurants, some variety, delicious food, yeah, or how to sleep, or how to have a big apartment, big bungalow, palatial bungalow, wonderful interior decoration. These are, part of sleep, basically having a comfortable stay, some rest. And the third one is, as I mentioned, bhai, or how to protect oneself by creating properties, insurance policies, or different ways. Some people keep gun at home, some people keep guard outside their houses, some people keep dog for protection, So these are all different ways to protect oneself out of some fearful situations. And the fourth one is the most commonly used mode of entertainment, or the peak entertainment, having sex with the opposite sex, uniting with the opposite sex. So even human beings whose purpose of life is only these 4 things, they also fall actually in the category of animals. Okay. There is no urge for self-realization. per se. There is no urge to find out reasons for why so many things happen in their life. There is no urge to find out the root cause. There is no urge to find out why one takes birth. There is no urge to find out why one dies, why one becomes old, why one suffers because of so many diseases. There is no urge. There is no urge to find out who is controlling everything, why sun rises every day, why sun sets every day, why so many seasons come so systematically, who is controlling. There is no urge to find out. So there is no urge to find out, and one is occupied or busy only in eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, then he is simply an animal. Dvipad Pashu. Yeah, so his consciousness is similar to consciousness of animals. The second is little elevated soul. This is called Karma Kanda. Karma Kanda basically is one is inclined towards religion. He starts understanding that there is something beyond this body. There's something spiritual, there's some spirit, there's some soul, there's someone who is controlling. Okay? But he uses religion only to meet his material needs. You know, people keep so many fasts, Monday ka fast, Tuesday ka fast, and to get better husband, to get better wife, to get wealth, to get prosperity in business. Yeah, these are all called karma kanda, performing karma according to some scripture, but for sense gratification, for material needs. But because he has some inclination towards religion, he transcends himself from animal life to at least human life. Okay, because he has some urge. Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Vedanta Sutra says, because now you have human body, which is not the case with every living entity. There are 84 lakh species, and I was telling the other day, out of 84 lakhs, 9 lakh species are aquatics, which live in water. 20 lakh species are non-moving, which is called sthavara, trees and plants, and the 11 lakh species of insects and reptiles, 10 lakh species of birds, and around 30 lakh species of four-legged animals and 4 lakh species of human beings, right? So only few of them whose consciousness is little elevated, and they get attracted to Vedas not for self-realization but for fulfillment of material needs, right? Basically, they use religion for sense gratification. Actually, it's not a true religion. Sometimes during Ganesh Chaturthi, people put pandals and they play Bollywood songs. They will come and sit and play cards. Some of them even drink and then dance on the tunes of Bollywood songs, Hollywood songs. So this is not true religion. This is using religion to satisfy our senses. This is sort of, even below Karma Kanda. People go to play Garbha during Navaratri and they enjoy playing with boyfriend, girlfriend. Yeah, in the name of religion. They don't know why they are doing what they are doing. They don't even know who is Mother Durga, what is the conscious position of Mother Durga, but they use religion for sense gratification, right? But there is some inclination. So this is called Karma Kanda, or actually one transcends to human life. When one uses karma kanda process for sense gratification or for a better life in the next birth, for example, somebody wants to go to heaven, which is also a part of material world, not spiritual world, that is also karma kanda desire. They perform various yagyas, various activities, various austerities, yagya, dana, tapa. Why? Either they want better opulent life in the next birth, or they want better comforts of material nature in heaven, right? But when one goes through this process again and again, again and again, again and again, and they finally get frustrated, every time they come, they have to go through the cycle of birth, death, old age, and disease. They desire to know more, deeper, sprouts up. Many times out of misery, people take shelter of God. When there is nothing else, they go and in front of the Lord and pray. And out of misery. Similarly, when one is frustrated from this material life, doesn't find any means to satisfy oneself, then his desire to know deeper about spiritual life awakens, and then he transcends from karma kanda to karma yoga. Why it becomes karma yoga? Because now he is trying to dovetail his karma with the Supreme Lord. Okay. Earlier, purpose of performing various Vedic rituals was sense gratification. Now, the purpose of performing various rituals or activities is not sense gratification, but self-realization. Okay, which is more spiritual in nature, not material. Then he comes to the platform yoga. This is karma yoga, wherein there is some attempt to dovetail the results of one karma or the activities per se, with the Supreme Lord. Then he is called yoga practitioner. Before that, no one is, he might be performing yogic asana, shavasana, or various types of asanas, but he is not a yoga practitioner unless the purpose of yoga is to re-establish relationship with the Lord. Okay. And after karma yoga, when one is doing karma or offering the results of karma to the Supreme Lord, real jnana awakens in his heart, or the detachment from this material world awakens. Yeah, then one doesn't feel interested in material activities because he has realized the truth of this material world, of himself, of the Supreme Lord. Yeah, he has understood that everything in this material world is temporary. And if one bases his life on something which is temporary, it is bound to be uncertain, it is bound to be fearful, it is bound to be frustrated. So when this knowledge awakens in this living entity, he tries to fully focus on spiritual life. Okay? And then there's Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga is basically meditation. When one goes to a secluded place and meditates, it has 8 steps: Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan, and Samadhi. The third stage, Asan, is those bodily postures which normally we see this as a yoga, we go for yoga classes. That is the third step in Ashtanga yoga process. It is not yoga per se, it is only an activity in the yogic process, in the Ashtanga yoga. Right? And then the topmost is Bhakti yoga, in which one surrenders himself to the Supreme Lord. One tries to connect directly with the Supreme Lord instead of indirect process of karma, jnana, or Ashtanga. One directly offers food to the Supreme Lord and eats his remnant. One directly chants the holy name of the Lord. One directly reads scriptures given by the Lord, like Gita Bhagavatam. One directly meditates on the names of the Lord. This is called Bhakti Yoga, the direct process of self realization. And after Krishna explains all the processes, then he establishes Bhakti Yoga is a supreme yoga process, most direct and the easiest method of re-establishing one's relationship with the Supreme Lord, or surrender, what we understood in the previous session. And only through Bhakti Yoga, one can fully realize the Supreme Lord. Okay, questions later, Mayank Prabhu. Only through Bhakti Yoga, one can realize fully what is the Supreme Lord, what is his position, what are his activities, what are his qualities, not really through the lower yoga processes. Okay. Now, Arjuna's query in this context which we are doing is, Arjuna is asking, Krishna, you first told me jnana means stay away from, in the 2.49, Krishna says, stay away from these, abominable activities through devotional process, which means follow jnana process. And now you're also asking me to fight the battle, which is karma yoga. So you are talking, don't give me equivocal instructions. You tell me decisively, I should fight the battle or I should renunciate completely. That is Arjuna's confusion. And many of us also sometimes are in this confusion. What should I do? Should I continue my life as it is, or should I completely become 100% spiritual by leaving everything? Yeah, so this is Arjuna's confusion. His mind is bewildered, what to do, what not to do. Actually, all of us in this material world are bewildered or get bewildered different point in time. Everyone is bound to be bewildered or confused if he does not know 5 subjects we discussed in the previous class. If he does not know 5 subjects, he is bound to be confused state of mind. He is bound to be bewildered all the time. He is bound to be frustrated. He is bound to be depressed. He is bound to be stressed out if he does not understand 5 important subjects explained in Bhagavad Gita. First, what is my constitutional position? Am I this body or a soul? Second, who is the controller? Who is ultimate controller? Who is controlling everything? We all experience that most of the things are not under our control. Everybody is working hard, but somebody is, topper, somebody gets success, somebody does not get success. It means somebody else is controlling the result of my action. And that who is the ultimate controller? Right? Third, what is the purpose of this prakriti, this material life, this material world? What role is it playing? Fourth, why everything is temporary in this material world? You keep something now, after some time it is spoiled due to the impact of time, kala. And the fifth, karma, law of karma. Why bad things happen with good people, why good things happen with bad people. So if one understands these 5 subject matters, he will not be bewildered in any situation. Right? For example, if something bad happens in somebody's life who does not understand these subjects, he will start blaming everyone around him. My mother-in-law is responsible, my daughter is responsible, my boss is responsible, God is responsible, and holding everybody else responsible rather taking responsibility of situation. But when one understands law of karma, that is my own action coming back through someone in the form of reaction, he is not bewildered. He understands the law of karma. He understands that I did something my previous life or even this life is coming back as a reaction. And the person who is responsible to cause this misery, he is simply an instrument. He is not responsible. But this, drishti or the spiritual vision comes when only one has understood, read through these five subject matters. So to live peacefully in this material world, one has to develop spiritual vision. Otherwise, he'll be frustrated. He'll be bewildered all the time. Yeah. We heard, in the second chapter, Krishna says, even Krishna explains, you know, what are the symptoms of a devotee or one who is fully fixed in Krishna consciousness? Krishna responded by saying, what? Dukkeshu anudvigna manaha sukkeshu vigaspraha. His mind is not bewildered during difficult times, during miseries. At the same time, he is not elated during good times. He is always stable in all situations because he understands whether dukkha or sukha, everything is temporary, not going to stay for a long time. He is stable. But why? Because he understands these five subject matters. So spiritual life is a necessity even to lead a good, peaceful material life. It is not a choice, okay, we follow it or we don't follow it. We follow it now or we follow it when we retire, when we are good for nothing. Our hands do not work, our eyes do not able to see, ears not able to hear properly, then we say we'll follow spiritual life. It's too late. Spiritual life has to be started from the age of 5, not 50 or 80. Too late. The whole life is gone, wasted. Yeah. So this is, the yoga ladder, and Arjuna's query is what to do, jnana, which is detachment, or karma, which is to fight the battle. Okay. Now before we proceed to next verse, if anyone has any question, you can ask. Please raise your hand. Raise your hand first. Please raise your hand in the system. I can. Okay. I'll be muting everyone so that there is no confusion, and unmute one by one. Okay. Yes, Bayan Prabhu.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, what was the age of Arjun when he actually fought the battle?
Age of Arjuna when he fought the battle, just hold on. I think Krishna was around, 90 years old, 89 or so, if I'm correct. And Arjuna and Krishna were almost at the same age, not very different. Both were friends to each other. So around that age, you can say.
18 or 19?
Not 18, 19, 89 or 90. Around that age, less than 100.
So by that time, Arjuna didn't realize that spiritual sort of thing. By that time, at an age of 80, he was not having clarity.
So that's what I said. We should not, when Arjuna is getting confused, we should not see Arjuna as confused. See, when Krishna has to deliver something big, he uses his devotees as instruments. So he used Arjuna simply as an instrument to deliver Bhagavad Gita to all of us. Like Krishna used Parikshit Maharaj, he was a wonderful devotee, as an instrument to deliver Bhagavatam. Okay, so we should not see Arjuna in a confused, non-devotee state of mind. We should see Arjuna only being used as an instrument by Krishna. Okay? Yes, Mamta Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Yes.
Prabhuji, the first point I missed, Prabhuji, means I couldn't see it on my cell phone actually. I'm connected through cell phone. Second point was Karma Kanda, then Karma Yoga, then Jana Yoga, Ashtang Yoga, and then we had this Brahman realization, Paramatma Bhakti Yoga, and Bhagavatam realization, Bhagwan realization. the first one which you explained,
Animal life.
Animal life.
Yes.
And that is equivalent if the same process is followed by the human beings as is followed by the animals. Right, Prabhuji?
Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending.
Okay.
If one is busy only in these four things, how to eat better, how to have better shelter, how to have better protection, or how to have better sex, is not better than animal. Okay. Yes, Shivani Mataji.
Prabhuji, I wanted to understand the difference between Karma Yoga and Janan Yoga.
So it's Karma Yoga and Gyan Yoga. Okay. Karma is basically engaging one's senses in action, and Gyan Yoga is renunciation, sannyas, leaving everything. So one is action oriented, one is detachment oriented, leaving everything. So when one understands, material world is nothing but a temporary place full of miseries, he wants to move away from material activities. Yeah. And then he is spending time in cultivating knowledge about Supreme, about spiritual matters, right? It's not really doing activities like we do as Grihasthas. So this is Arjuna's query. See, we should understand there are four varnas, right? Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. And everybody is under different control of material modes. Rajaguna, Tamoguna, Sattva, right? In Brahmana, Sattva is prominent. In Kshatriya, Rajaguna is prominent. Rajaguna means action. Like people who work very hard in life to do something, to achieve something, they have prominent feature of Rajaguna. That's why they are laboring hard to meet their material goals. Rajaguna. If you ask such people to sit down quietly, he cannot. Right? He is action oriented. Right? Like Arjuna is action oriented, he is Kshatriya. Renunciation is not good for him at this stage. Renunciation is superior to Karma Yoga. Gyan Yoga is superior to Karma Yoga. But if there is a level of maturity required to pursue Gyan Yoga, I'll explain how. Suppose I am working and I still have a lot of material desires, right? I still have a lot of material desires. I have two options. One, leave everything and go to Vrindavan and simply chant the holy name. And second is keep working like I am working and offer the result of my work to Krishna. Which is better for me according to you?
When I offer the result to Krishna.
Very good, but why?
But in that case, I am not attached to the result.
I'm not attached to?
Attached to the result. I am only.
But you're not able to give full time to Krishna, no? You're still engaged in so many material activities and giving part of it to Krishna. Because that is what qualification I have. If I go to Vrindavan and try to chant whole day, I will not be able to. My mind will come back to my family, to my business, to my material desires. Isn't it? Mind will not allow to perform Gyan Yoga. So to perform Gyan Yoga or complete renunciation, one has to be completely devoid of material desires, which is not the case with me. So Krishna will explain, Baba, you better fight the battle. You keep working the way you're working, keep offering the result to Krishna. Gradually, you will get purified. You will get purified, and maybe later, when all the material desires have vanquished, then right time for renunciation. Not right now, because you still have material desires. Okay? Arjuna is hurrying up to leave because he wants to avoid fighting battle, right? That is his objective. He wants to avoid fighting. But Krishna will say, no. You have to fight the battle. Perform karma. Perform karma yoga. Not renunciation. Okay. It is safer for us. We were discussing in yesterday's class also. It is safer for us. Because once you go and not able to perform, then you have to come back to this life. Right? There are very handful of people who have the courage to lead that life. So they first purify themselves and they take decisions, to lead a complete renunciate life. Not everyone can do that. So not everyone should try to do that. Is that okay, Shivani Mataji? Okay. Okay, yes. Next, anyone else has any question? Did it make sense, Vishwas Prabhu? Okay. Anyone else? Yes, Pradeep Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Sir, Prabhuji, you said that knowledge contained in Bhagavad Gita is a mystery. And no one can attain this knowledge just by reading it. And it is very, very important. So why it is so complicated that we need to put so much efforts and thinking to learn all those very, very important things of life? Why do we need to go through the process of karma yoga?
Good question. So we discussed the other day that surrender is very important, right? When one shows signs of surrender, Krishna reveals this knowledge to him. Krishna says, Bhaktya mam abhijanati. Only my devotees can understand this knowledge. Devotees means who are serving Krishna practically. Krishna reveals the essence of this knowledge only to those people. There are so many people who are reading Bhagavad Gita. In fact, they have read Bhagavad Gita many times. They have, memorized all 700 verses of Bhagavad Gita, but they have not been able to understand the essence of Bhagavad Gita. Why? They have not followed the process of serving Krishna or engaging all our senses in the service of Krishna. Simply dry knowledge does not help. In the next verse we'll read, Prabhupada will explain, religion without philosophy and philosophy without religion, both are bad. For example, religion without philosophy, or let's say philosophy, like your question is more about philosophy. Philosophy without practical action is simply mental speculation. Right? There are many people who simply read Vedas, उसको रटते हैं पूरा दिन, सारे वेद, but they don't do anything practical to serve the Lord. It is simply dry knowledge. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Vedascha sarver aham eva vedya. The purpose of reading Vedas is to know me. If you simply read Vedas just to become Pandit and Jnani and influence or, to impress other people that I am so big Jnani Pandit, I know all Vedas, I know Bhagavad Gita, but not serving, not trying to establish relationship with the Supreme, that knowledge has no meaning. Even after reading Vedas, if one does not realize who is the Supreme Lord and why it is important to surrender him, that Veda's understanding has no meaning. Isn't it? Once somebody came to have, argument with Srila Prabhupada, he had read all the Vedas. Vedas matlab ki Gyan without bhakti. simple, dry knowledge. He came to argue Prabhupada. Prabhupada asked him, "You answer my simple question. Who is the Supreme Lord? Who is Bhagavan?" And this man was all over the place. He's saying there are so many demigods, this, that, then anybody who's following any path, for him, he is God or she is God. Completely confused. He could not give a simple answer. Who is the Supreme Lord? This is dry knowledge. No realization. Then Prabhupada called a small child of a devotee, some 5-year-old, called, "Beta, come here." He asked him, "Beta, who is Supreme Lord?" He said, "Krishna." He said, "This small child is more realized than you. After reading Vedas, you have not understood who is Supreme Lord. And this child knows at the age of 5 years because he's serving Krishna and Krishna has revealed to him. He sings Narsingh Aarti in front of Krishna. He offers food to Krishna. He eats prasadam. He's practically in the service of Krishna. Krishna is revealed to him, though he's only 5-year-old. That's why bhakti is not dependent on jnana or karma. We'll read that later. Bhakti is independent of jnana or karma. Anyone who performs bhakti, jnana and karma automatically manifest. Okay, independent of jnana. And jnana and karma without bhakti have no meaning. Jnana and karma without devotion, no meaning. Okay. So Krishna has put this clause. Baba, you have to first learn to surrender a little bit. You have to serve, engage your senses in my service. Then I will reveal the essence or the secrets of this knowledge. Not to everyone. Krishna is very choosy that way. That's why he says, not many people will come. Manushyanam sahasreshu kashchit yatati siddhaye. Out of thousands and thousands, one will try this process. And out of those thousands, one will get success. So a devotee of Krishna who is fully surrendered is a rare commodity and hence very valuable, like gems. Everybody cannot afford to pay and buy gems. Similarly, everybody cannot become, because they are not willing to pay the price. Does it answer your question, Pradeep Prabhu? Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Should we move ahead and do the next verse? Okay, all right. So some people have joined today, because they have not gone through first and second chapter understanding. It might be a little challenge for you to digest what I am saying. But if you stay the course, I'm sure gradually, looking at your sincerity, Krishna will reveal the understanding of first and second chapter also. Okay, if you have faith in this knowledge. Let me open the next verse, which is verse number 3. Okay, so it goes like this. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Lokayasmin Dvividha Nishtha Pura Prokta Mayanagha Jnana Yogena Sakyanam Karma Yogena Yogina. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Lokayasmin Dvividha Nishtha Pura Prokta Mayanagha Jnana Yogena Sakyanam Karma Yogena Yogina. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Loke Asmin Dvividha Nishtha Pura Prokta Mayanagha Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam Karma Yogena Yogina. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, means Krishna is speaking now, and he is referred as Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Right? So when Arjuna says, Vyasadeva writes, Arjuna Uvacha. When Sanjaya speaks, he says Sanjaya Uvacha. When what do you call, Krishna speaks, he says Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. The Supreme Personality of God said. What did he say? O sinless Arjuna, I have already explained that there are two classes of men who try to realize the self. Some are inclined to understand it by empirical, philosophical speculation, and others by devotional service. Okay. I'll repeat. The Supreme Personality of God said, O sinless Arjuna, I have already explained that there are two classes of men who try to realize the self. Some are inclined to understand it by empirical, philosophical speculation, and others by devotional service. Purport. In the second chapter, the Lord explained two kinds of procedures, namely Sankhya Yoga and Karma Yoga or Buddhi Yoga. In this verse, the Lord explains the same more clearly. Sankhya Yoga, or analytical study of nature of spirit and matter, is a subject matter for persons who are inclined to speculate and understand things by experimental knowledge and philosophy. Other class of men work in Krishna consciousness as it is explained in the 61st verse of second chapter. The Lord explained also in the 39th verse that by working by principles of Buddhi Yoga or Krishna consciousness, one can be relieved from the bonds of action, and furthermore, there is no flaw in the process. The same principle is more clearly explained in the 61st verse, that this Buddhi Yoga is to depend entirely on the Supreme, or more specifically on Krishna. And in this way, all the senses can be brought under control very easily. Therefore, both the yogas are interdependent as religion and philosophy. Religion without philosophy is sentiment or sometimes fanaticism, while philosophy without religion is mental speculation. The ultimate goal is Krishna, because the philosophers who are sincerely searching after absolute truth come in the end to Krishna consciousness. This is also stated in Bhagavad Gita. The whole process to understand the real position of self in relation to the super self. The indirect process is philosophical speculation by which gradually one may come to the point of Krishna consciousness. And the other process is directly connecting everything with Krishna in Krishna consciousness. Of these two, the path of Krishna consciousness is better because it does not depend on purifying the senses by philosophical process. Krishna consciousness is itself the purifying process, and by direct method of devotion service, it is simultaneously easy and sublime. Okay, little heavy, and I'll try to explain, in a simple manner. So he's saying that two ways Krishna has explained so far in the second chapter. One, Krishna explained, body and soul. This is knowledge. Sankhya Yoga. What is temporary? What is permanent? So a lot of people try to understand the nature of this material world through analytical study. Neti means this is temporary or permanent. Oh, this is temporary. This is temporary or permanent. Oh, this is temporary. This is temporary or permanent. Oh, this is temporary. So they analyze every item, every element of this material world and, classify temporary or permanent. And everything is temporary. Isn't it? So after studying nature of everything in this material world, they come to a conclusion, oh, everything is temporary. Only soul is permanent, only super soul is permanent. Everything in this material world is temporary. Everything around us, all the relationships we enjoy, everything is temporary. Now this is not holding your ear like this. This is holding your ear like this. Okay, very lengthy process to find out the nature of this material world. But some people who like to experiment, study, read, study shastras. There are people who right from small age start, studying various Vedas, Yajurved, Tharved, and whole day they are simply reciting these Vedas. So through this empirical process, they try to find out truth. This is one process of Gyan Yoga, Sakhi Yoga, but very lengthy process. But some people like it. And the second process, he says, is working in Krishna consciousness, not renouncing everything, working in Krishna consciousness, or devotional life, wherein you actually serve the Supreme Lord directly, using your senses. And then Krishna reveals this knowledge. One is you use knowledge, try to find out Krishna. Second, you serve Krishna, and Krishna reveals the knowledge. Krishna, manifests detachment automatically. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Triyojita Janiyati Ashu Vairagyam. When one follows devotional process or Bhakti Yoga, Gyan, knowledge and detachment both develop simultaneously. You don't have to try for it. Right? Are you able to follow me? Let's say when you actually start chanting or you start eating only prasadam, your taste to other, material affairs and material subjects or, eating outside goes down. This is detachment. Naturally. Isn't it? You don't have to try for it. The Prabhupada says the process itself is purifying. You simply chant, you simply eat prasadam, simply read shastras, Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, detachment and knowledge will manifest automatically. Like that small boy who said Krishna is Supreme Lord. Why? How did he know? Simply by being in the association of devotees and eating prasadam, whatever, following his parents, whatever they're doing. There are many big sannyasis. They have read all Vedic literature, they don't know his Supreme Lord. So that is not foolproof. It is not, Gyan Marg is not foolproof, whether you will get to know or not get to know. Unless you add the flavor of bhakti in Gyan, unless you add the flavor of bhakti in Karma, then it becomes Karma Yoga and Gyan Yoga. Otherwise, it's not Yoga. I shared, in one of the universities in Udaipur, they used to run Bhagavad Gita classes. I told many times, and all the professors come and attend those classes. Yeah? But only try to acquire knowledge. They have not developed sense of devotion. They are not working practically in the service of Krishna. Okay, so the practical service is very important. Prabhupada says, religion without philosophy is sentiment. What do you mean by sentiment? Can somebody explain? What is sentiment? Yes.
Prabhuji, emotions, false emotions.
Okay, emotion. Very good. So they could be genuine emotions, they could be false emotions. For example, many of us have done in our lives, and many of people we see, they worship some deity in their houses. They have an altar, they have some murtis in their altar, and they come and rotate incense in front of them every day. So this is religion, actual some activity, but they don't know philosophy. They don't know whom they are serving. They don't know who is Shiva. They don't know who is Ganesh. They don't know who is Hanuman. What is his constant position? Because they have seen their parents have been serving like this, they start doing it. So such religion, which is not based on philosophy, Prabhupada says it is simply sentiment. Simply out of some false emotion they have been serving. They don't know the truth. Like Garbha. religion without philosophy. Like dancing during Ganesh Chaturthi procession, drinking, singing Bollywood songs, religion without philosophy. And Prabhupada says such a religion which is not based on philosophy is actually fanatism. People who see people who fight for religion, or hum Hindu hai, hum Musliman hai, because they don't understand philosophy, the truth behind the religion. That's why they fight sentimentally, sentimentalists. Like, there are two people, both follow Gandhi. Gandhi said what? Wear khadi. One says, Gandhi said, wear khadi, so I'm wearing khadi. And this khadi from China. Okay. I'm wearing khadi. Gandhi said, wear khadi. The other person, he says, I am also following Gandhi. I am wearing pant shirt because I have to go for my job. But this pant shirt is made in India, it's not imported. Now, in essence, who is following Gandhi? Who is wearing khadi or who is wearing pant shirt? Please tell me. Somebody who is wearing pant shirt. Because the principle behind Gandhi's philosophy was Swadeshi. Apne desh ka bana pehno. Let's become self-reliant. Let's not depend on others. But somebody who is wearing khadi, he did not understand the principle. He simply followed the detail. Aarti karni hai bas. But he doesn't understand the principle behind what he's doing. So this is religion without philosophy, fanatism, or sentiment. Simply out of sentiment, he is worshipping deities. And second extreme case is philosophy without religion. Lot of knowledge, but not doing anything. Not serving, but only knowledge in the head. Pandit, everybody says, oh, Pandit ji aa gaye. Unko sari Bhagavad Gita yaad hai, sare Ved yaad hain. And they're happy with this adoration from people. They're happy only impressing people out of their knowledge. This is philosophy without religion. Prabhupada says both are required. They are interdependent. You need to know philosophy also, who is Supreme Lord, and you need to also serve the Supreme Lord through real action, which is religion. So both are required. Okay, so Arjuna is trying to find out now, please tell me, should I renunciate? Should I leave the battlefield? Or should I fight the battlefield? That is Arjuna's query. Can he follow Gyan Marg, detachment, or follow Karma Marg, do something, act based on your Swadharma? Okay, so that brings end to this verse, which is second and third. So if you have any query, you can ask. Yes? Does anyone have any query? I hope you've understood. Leena Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Guruji.
Have you understood the essence of today's discussion?
Yes, quite. Yeah. I had some confusion, but for the third verse, that I thought that Krishna is saying that Karma Yoga, because in Sanskrit, if you see, but then when we read the purport, I got it. Like he said that Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga. But then he is explained that Karma Yogain, the linking process of devotion and yoginam, means of the devotees. So there was a confusion that he's talking about maybe Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga, but not Karma. He's talking about Karma based on devotion, like activities in Krishna consciousness.
Yes, yes. Yoga. When you say, the moment you say yoga means devoted to Krishna. Otherwise, no yoga. Okay. Yes. Anyone else? Rajraj, Chandi Mataji, yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Pranam.
Prabhuji, so if I understand the difference between Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga, then so I understand it like this. I'm just reiterating so that you correct me if I'm wrong. So if you are purified, your desires are purified, then Gyan Yoga is better than Karma Yoga. But if your desires are not purified, then Karma Yoga is better than Gyan Yoga. Is it like that?
Better in terms of execution, not in terms of standard. Always remember.
Okay, execution.
Because I cannot execute Gyan Yoga because I am not qualified. Okay. Ishita Mataji, were you able to follow?
Yes. I just had one thing. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. You said that some religions without philosophy, some follow religion without a philosophy. So it's just a sentiment and it's a kind of a fanatism. And the other cases when there is philosophy without religion. So both are interdependent. So philosophy without religion, like you gave examples about religions without philosophy, but philosophy without religion is what?
Like there are many people who become sannyasi, who completely renunciate, and they think the purpose of life is to simply study Veda. And the whole life they keep studying Vedas and discussing Veda, but practically don't do anything. It is a example of philosophy without any action, without doing anything. Okay. So reading, simply understanding Veda is not the goal of life. Krishna says, Vedescha sarver aham eva vedya. The purpose of reading Veda is to know me. If you're not able to know me, then the entire study is waste. Yes, Mayank Prabhu.
Prabhuji, just wanted to ask, like there are various Buddhist monks. They are always they always indulge themselves in activities like meditations and all. But at the end of the day, when it comes to serving, they are not that much active like ISKCON members. Like they don't serve food, or they are not into those devotional services. So, what is your takeaway from their life? I mean, what is this? They are doing something, but at the end of the day, where is the devotional service part?
See, we need to understand Buddhist philosophy is, a philosophy in which they don't believe in the existence of soul or super soul. They are called Shunyavadi. So according to them, everything becomes null and void after this life. That is not the case. Okay? Shunyavadi means no faith in existence of soul or super soul. For them, to get rid of miseries is nirvana. They normally use this term. Suppose somebody is sick. Killing the person is not the solution of getting him rid of sickness. Right? Somebody may say, "Oh, kill this person. He'll be free from sickness." That is their philosophy. Nothing. When you become zero, then you are free of all. But nothing becomes zero. Soul is eternal. So Buddhist philosophy is not to be followed. Okay? Buddhist philosophy is Prabhupada condemned a lot. And, I was in Sri Lanka for quite some time, and 70% population Buddhist. And their, main principle is Ahimsa Parama Dharma. And almost every Sri Lankan eats non-vegetarian. Rina Mata, you can vouch for it. Everyone. So even they don't understand what is Buddhist philosophy. At least when they follow Buddhist philosophy, at least they will not kill animals. At least they'll be, they'll save themselves from committing sinful activities. So, dharma is a very important subject, but to be understood correctly. Isn't everybody says, I am following dharma. जैसे कृष्णा says, सर्व धर्मान परित्यज्य, इस तरह के धर्मों को छोड़ के नेचर में आ जाओ. Leave all these kind of artificial, superficial dharmas which does not lead you to the perfection of life, just abandon them and take my shelter. Yes, Pradeep Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Pradeep Prabhu. Unmute yourself first, unmute yourself.
Yeah, sorry. प्रभु जी, मैं भी भगवत गीता से पहली बार इतना ऐसे जुड़ रहा हूँ और बहुत क्यूरियोसिटी मुझे हो रही है. You said that Bhagavad Gita is a knowledge and Krishna is choosy. It gives knowledge to only devotees, and Bhagavad Gita is a mystery, right? You have to really read it hard and to find out the real meaning of its verses, right?
You
तो
don't have
बहुत
to.
छोटे से लिखते हैं पर उसके.
You don't have to read it hard.
Hello?
I'm not saying.
Yeah, you don't have to read hard. पर
Yes.
आपको उसको बहुत अच्छे से समझना पड़ता है ना?
हाँ.
और सर्विस करनी पड़ती है.
हाँ, yes.
Right, है ना? अब मेरा पर्सनल क्वेश्चन आपसे ये है, because you are in Bhagavad Gita for so many years and you are really devotee, कि आपको किसी वर्ष का डिफरेंट मीनिंग लगा अलग अलग टाइम में, कि आपने एक वर्ष पहले कुछ साल पहले पढ़ा, उसको अभी वापस पढ़ा और इसका मतलब तो ये था, या कृष्ण wanted to tell me this thing और मैं तो बाप रे ये समझ रहा था. ऐसा लगता है कभी सर?
So what happens is, as I mentioned, Krishna reveals based on our qualification. Okay. So when you read again and again, you get different realizations. These are different revelations. It's not that, I did not understand this previously and now I have understood. Even now I have not understood. Even now, when I read it again next time, Krishna may reveal something else. Nobody can understand Bhagavad Gita fully. Okay? Krishna reveals, this is, unlimited knowledge. There is no limit to it. But Krishna reveals based on one's qualification. The good part is, even a newcomer who reads will learn if reading under guidance. Even the most, pure devotee, when he reads, he also understands something. That is the beauty of Bhagavad Gita. Provided both are following the process. Okay, thank you, Pradeep. Yes, Daya Mataji.
अनम्यूट. प्रणाम प्रभु जी.
Yes,
ये आज का जो प्रसंग और ये टॉपिक बहुत ही कठिन रहा है और बहुत दिमाग लगाना पड़ा इसको समझने में, सांख्य योग और कर्म योग में. जबकि बुद्धि योग वही चीज है कि सारे वो बुद्धि योग में जो स्थिर प्रज्ञ जिस अवस्था में जो वर्णन आया उसकी विशेषता वगैरह पहले बताई, तो उस अवस्था में रहते हुए भी सारे वो कर्म तो करता ही है. तो अभी ये कर्म योग जो बताया, भक्ति योग, कृष्ण भावना भावित होकर के कर्म योग करना, तो दोनों में वैसे समानता तो है, और निष्काम भाव से और कृष्ण भावना भावित होकर के कर्म करते रहना है. तो आज के इस बात से एक चीज, सामान्य सी चीज जो समझ में आई और बात के भी डिस्कशन से, कि जो हमें तो कृष्ण की तरफ पूर्ण रूप से समर्पित होकर के जो हमारे निर्धारित कर्म हैं उनको कृष्ण भावना भावित उनको अर्पित करते हुए, फल उनको अर्पित करते हुए हमें अपने नियत कर्मों को करते रहना चाहिए.
Yes. अभी हमारी वही क्वालिफिकेशन, ठीक है. अब भाई हमारी वही योग्यता है कि आप जो कर रहे हो करते रहिए और साथ साथ में कृष्ण को जीवन का केंद्र बनाइए, बस.
बिल्कुल जी जी.
थैंक यू. Okay. Any last query before we close? Okay. Okay, then we close here. Thank you very much My request is you may want to hear this session once again. So we have some new members who have joined today. May I request them to switch on your videos so that we can introduce. Hare Krishna. Mayank Prabhu, Indra Joshi Prabhu, and I can see Shelly Madan. Correct? Okay. So welcome all of you. Thank you for joining this session and hope to see you every week. So, as a ritual, we welcome all the devotees by chanting the holy name. Okay, so we'll chant the holy name together and welcome all. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hope to see you again. Okay, thank you very much. Prabhupada ki jai.